my name is Rachel Gray, and I'm here to talk to you today about my future career as a teacher and why I feel it's so important to make sure that you are a caring adult for your students. Every single day, parents send their kids to school. It's with good faith that they choose to trust the school with the safety and well-being of their child. It's with a hopeful heart that they send their children into the influence of other adults. As an adult, I have always known that I wanted to get a job in education. I wanted to help kids grow and be there to foster them on that journey. Growing up, my mom was a teacher, and I would spend almost every day volunteering in her classroom, especially when I was in high school. Being a caring adult can come in many, many forms, but at the forefront of it all is educators. It's an educator's job not only to allow students room to grow academically, but also nurture their forming personalities and allow them a space to discover themselves with adult support. So many qualities goes into being a teacher that it's often difficult to see what makes a teacher right for the job. We can look at their relationships with kids in order to get a better idea of what a good teacher is. A teacher is not only someone who is there to grow the minds of students, but also make the kids feel valued as human beings. Selma, a parent, writes into a blog, also called Parent, stating, "Children who feel loved, supported, valued by their teachers are more likely to be confident, curious, and engaged in their learning." Loving children inspires them to be better learners. If the child doesn't feel safe and loved, they're not likely to listen to you, let alone retain any information you give them. Children need to know that they can trust the adults that they know as their teachers. Having trusted adults as a child allows them to feel safe and supported in their educational careers, if you will. The LinkedIn community created an online outline in order to help educators connect with their students. One of these tips to better meet the needs of your students is to establish trust and rapport. They state, be honest, be reliable, be respectful in your words and actions, and admit your mistakes and apologize when necessary. When a child feels as though they are respected, they can use that relationship to be encouraged to grow, and they have that comfort that really provides them the ideal learning environment. While it's important to build relationships and be a caring adult for your children, it's also imperative that any future educator understands the demands of such an important job. Teaching can be a very demanding job. There are many issues that you as an educator could face. You need to be able to adapt. It's very important to adapt. No child is created equal, and it's not really their job to adapt to our needs. It's kind of our job to adapt to their needs. Tina Wheeler, a longtime teacher, states, accommodations are changes in how information is taught to a student. Teachers can accommodate how information is presented to a student, how students are allowed to respond to assessments and assignments, the setting in which a student learns or takes a test, and the amount of time given to complete a task. Adapting a learning environment for a student may need to happen for many reasons, whether it be a learning disability, social emotional regulation issues, or simply that they're having a tough time at home and school feels a little overwhelming. Any number of students can have needs that a teacher might need to adapt to. Whether they have a disability or not, every student is different. Robert Gentry, a professor of special education, states, differentiated instruction is appropriate for virtually all general education classes and is particularly beneficial to students with an array of learning challenges. Accommodating students is not something that is done only in special education classes or as a part of an IEP or a 504 plan. Accommodating students is a regular part of your job as a teacher. In order for a student to properly learn, they have to be able to understand what they're being taught. While care and adaptability are very important as a classroom teacher, you also need to be able to manage your classroom. Classroom management is the way in which you keep your students engaged and focused on the learning that is about to be done in the classroom. Without the ability to manage a classroom, the schools would be a place of anarchy rather than a place to foster growth. Classroom management is important for students to be able to focus on their work and grow as students. Jen Breischer states, "When students are off task and not paying attention, you will have a difficult time getting their attention back on the lesson at hand. Without a strong skill set for classroom management, children may not be able to focus, and if they're unable to focus, they cannot retain the information." Classroom management also creates a safer environment for students to learn in. That same author, Jen Breischer, states, students or even teachers can be hurt or damage property when they're involved in an unruly classroom. If a classroom is not well managed, it's likely that any unsafe behavior could not only go unnoticed, but could also manifest until it's out of control. Unfortunately, that puts the safety of anybody in your classroom at risk. Finally, being in a classroom is about a lot more than teaching kids that 2 + 2 = 4. It's about fostering their minds and building relationships in order to teach them to be the best adults that they can be. It's about adapting the learning environment to best fit their needs and set them up for success. It's about keeping children safe and comfortable. But more than anything, it's about being that caring adult. So to anyone that is thinking about becoming a teacher, I strongly urge you to be that caring adult. Thank you.